All right, coming back at you guys with another Jeep video. Last time you guys saw the Jeep stranded out in the woods, struggling to death, trying to get home. Supercharger out. Went ahead, I shipped this whole Supercharger to Ripp. They requested I ship the whole unit, even though I knew this was fine and they did too. They went ahead and just looked it over, made sure everything was great there. I was out of town for a little bit of time, and while I was out of town, this showed up. So got back last night, opened up the box, took a peek, and was surprised to see that they refreshed pretty much the whole accessory side of the Supercharger. New pulleys, which I knew needed to be replaced. New high altitude Supercharger pulley, new back plate. One of these, I think it was this one, was a little strip, so they replaced the whole back plate of the Supercharger and gave me all brand new hardware. So I don't know, above and beyond on their part to make sure that everything goes back together. Extremely easy, clean, and functions for another 60,000 plus miles. What I'm going to be doing is taking off this old serpentine belt, cleaning all my pulleys, making sure all my pulleys are fine and there isn't any other issues. Now that I'm at home in the garage and I can look at everything and I have all my tools, cleaning up this grease residue and all that other crap, and putting it back together. So super excited. Today is going to be a good fun day. Future updates on the Jeep. We have the suspension and everything dialed in. There are a few more things that I do want to do on the suspension, but for now it is going to be just as it sits. Main thing that I'm going to be gearing towards and working on is sourcing a good, used, healthy LS engine and transmission. So I'm looking to buy a LS L99, or I totally am butchering what I'm trying to say, but the LS truck version of it, or L99. It's been a minute since I've been looking, but with a 6L80 6-speed transmission. I know that now there's the 8-speed transmission, but I'm thinking the 6L80 6-speed automatic transmission is going to be a little easier and cheaper to source. And I mean, this Jeep really doesn't need more than that. So LS engine, automatic transmission, and get that thing, make sure that the engine is nice and freshened up, and then go ahead and get the install harness and all that good stuff. So anyways, that's kind of future for the Jeep, what I'm going to be working on. I know that I keep saying that I'm going to do a walk around of the Jeep, talk about it and stuff like that. I probably will in a very soon future video, but today this is the main topic and mission of the day, throwing the Supercharger back into this Jeep, because let me tell you, man, 42s lifted, heavy axles, etc., driving this thing around town is a freaking dinosaur, dude. It's slow as heck. So that Supercharger really makes a massive difference. If you don't have the money to do an LS engine, or etc., and you're in the same position, I would definitely recommend throwing in a Ripp in the Jeep if you want to be able to to drive your Jeep again. But I do have a few things that are being shipped and coming in for the Hellcat. Should be arriving here in a couple days. I don't know if I'm going to do it all in one video or two videos, but you guys will have to wait and see what's coming for that. Alrighty, so first piece of the puzzle, I believe this is a 1/4 inch. Since the Supercharger is currently out, I can use this breaker bar here just to release tension off the belt, and go ahead and pull the belt off. So normally with the Supercharger on, or usually, I mean, I guess if you don't have a Supercharger, you can use the breaker bar from up top, but usually you're going to be going from down below and using the leverage. So That's actually what I will be doing later on in the video when I put the new Supercharger belt on. But serpentine belt comes off, nice and easy. There she is, still in good condition. I don't know how many miles I put on it since I took the Supercharger out, but gonna go ahead and get everything just cleaned up and start putting everything back together. But that's kind of step one right there, taking the stock serpentine belt off. So let's move on to the next step. Went ahead and I cleaned this up, hit it with some black chassis paint, took some brake cleaner, sprayed it on all my pulleys and all around, got rid of all the grease and such, whatever was on it. I touched every single pulley, made sure that everything spins freely and doesn't have any major gunk on it or whatever. So next piece of the puzzle is, got my Supercharger. I got the correct size belt. This is an 80-inch for the Supercharger. Continental belt. Supposed to be a really good belt. Gonna clean up this intake a little bit more on the interior and the rest of the hardware. So next shot should be me hoisting the Supercharger and getting it going and in place, bolting it into place. So stay tuned. All right, so I made some room. I unplugged the temperature sensor that tells you how hot it is outside from the fan shroud. I threw the belt on the Supercharger pulley itself just to make it easier, I guess. And now if everything has been done correctly, I should be able to just drop this puppy in however it goes. Serpentine belt at the moment doesn't matter, just wanted to drop out of the way. Get these lower bolts in. Looks like the fan shroud is still an issue. Dang you, stupid fan shroud. Just by a little bit though. Sweet. Nice. I was able to get her in even with the fan shroud somewhat in the way. So what I'm going to do is just hand tight the bottom bolts. Getting them started. Throw this bottom washer on. Get this nut on it if I can. Fuck. Of course. Anyways, got one of the bolts going and it is aligned properly. Freaking annoying thing. I'm gonna move that serpentine belt better out of the way. Can get one of these guys in there. There we go. So now it's not hanging on those bottom bolts anymore. Get this other spacer, alignment spacer in. Nice. So everything is just by hand at the moment. Going to retrieve that bolt that fell down and do the rest. So popped in the alignment spacers, got that bottom bolt. This other bolt was a little annoying because of this hose here, and I dropped it, but I'm gonna pop that puppy back on. Get the intake aligned properly. Reinstall this temperature sensor and plug it in, and then route the rest of the serpentine belt around, and we should be solid. Of course, I just have 2 more little bolts. That bolt's to pop in and that bolt to pop in, but that's gonna be super easy. So I'm gonna go ahead and take care of that off camera. That was kind of the main thing, hoisting this puppy in. I believe that nowadays, if you buy a Supercharger, the belt comes pre-installed. I could be wrong, so don't take my word for it. But I went ahead and I installed mine before putting these puppies on, just because I knew it was going to be quite a bit easier to handle this. Getting it on the pulley with these off, routed the correct way, is going to make your life quite a bit easier. So there we are. I'm going to find that bolt, install it, and then go from there. But hope you guys saw something from that angle. I don't know. I mean, filled in the spot, I guess. But it's better than me putting the camera down and you guys wondering what's going on. So anyways, if you guys are still watching this, consider subscribing. Thumbs upping it will always help. Or down if you think it sucks. Fine with me. But think about subscribing. There's going to be a lot more Jeep content coming. Especially if later on this year I do end up ripping this engine out and doing the series of installing an LS. I have never done an engine swap myself, so I mean, you guys can learn with me, and then plenty of content that's going to be coming with the Hellcat as well. Right, so guys, I had a little bit of off-camera work. Went ahead and ran these bolts through. Proper way, I believe, is putting this washer in between these 2 pieces, maybe. But I don't believe that that's going to be an issue at all. It's just a support leg to keep the Supercharger from going this way. This bolt, however, does appear to be important as far as alignment. It's got a washer here, washer in the middle, washer on the outside. Got that popped on. Got everything tightened, torqued. 414 millimeters. Everything is turning beautifully and looks to be aligned. Now the next piece of the puzzle is to route the serpentine belt the proper way. Getting footage of me doing that would be extremely difficult, so I'm not even going to try, but I'm going to put up the diagram for anyone that might be in my position and wants to know how the serpentine belt should be aligned with the Ripp Supercharger. Also got this guy back on. Ran my oil line. The only thing left is, yeah, I know, a pretty cheesy dipstick thing, but it works, is to fill my Supercharger up with oil again. Check the level, make sure that there's enough oil, and then start her up and go. So going to wrap my serpentine belt. I'm gonna install the silencer. What the silencer is just this little rubber hose. It makes the Supercharger quieter. I don't know. I'll probably run it that way again, or maybe switch back to the way that it was. If I do, I'm gonna have to point this inlet down so that water or debris or anything doesn't go in and get stuck. So anyways, that's where we're at right now. Got the temp sensor put in again. So route that up, throw some oil in it, throw the cone filter back on, and give her a ring. So I got the Supercharger belt back on. checked everything. Doing a visual check right now as well. The belt is on, routed properly. I might actually push that in a little bit more. But anyways, when you do the first few key turns before you start it, it kind of like finds its track totally. But the most important thing is to make sure that they are in each groove and everything is aligned properly, and it is. So now what I'm going to do is fill her up with Supercharger oil. Make sure that it reads on the dipstick. Zip tie that little oil line where you go to empty out the Supercharger oil to the frame somewhere where it's not going to get caught off-roading. And I'm going to start it without this silencer in, just so that I can make sure that, so I can see better in there as well or whatever. But anyways, that's it. Belt is on. Throwing some oil. I'm going to check everything over once more and then give her a start and see how it is. All right, oil in the Supercharger, belt is on. Boost pressure is holding up. Looks like it is fixed. I'm going to replace the silencer. For now anyways, I might get a filter and put it here again and then flip that underneath. But for now I don't have a filter for that right now. So I'm just gonna put the silencer on to make sure that everything stays clean. So once again, job done. Oil temp is good. I mean, not temp, oil level is good. I'll check it once again. Everything is tight, everything's running through, and the boost pressure is proper. So I'm gonna throw that silencer on and go for a test drive. But thanks for watching. More Jeep contents to come. Think about subscribing and for future updates on the Jeep and Hellcat or something else.